to yet another exciting session. We have with us today Nayanika Chatterjee, supermodel and choreographer. Nayanika is a professional Indian model who has been a part of the fashion fraternity since 1988. She has walked the ramp for designers like Tarun Tahiliani, Ambika Pillai, Rohit Khosla, amongst others, as well as internationally for Pierre Cardin. She has worked in television with MTV, B4U, and FTV, as well as played a cameo in Madhu Bhandarkar's movie Fashion. Currently, Nayanika runs a grooming academy called Nayanika Chatterjee Grooming in New Delhi and conducts workshops for makeup, design, and modeling. She has directed shows at IPL events and has given style lessons to models for Femina Style Diva 2015 and other pageants. A graduate of NID, Nayanika has worked with American sculptor Ray Meeker in Pondicherry prior to embarking on her very successful modeling career. Today's session will be on the topic inclusivity and diversity in fashion, and it will be as a conversation between Nayanika and Ajay Bisht, Assistant Director, the School of Fashion Design at UIT. Thank you so much, Nayanika and Ajay, for joining us today. And over to you, Ajay.
Thank you for the lovely introduction.
Thank you, Anita and Nayanika. Thank you so much for being a part of this session and being here today. I mean, I'm awestruck because I've seen you since forever. Yeah, so it's amazing to have you here. And obviously, we're going to talk about your journey. We're going to talk about the lives you've influenced, the people who have looked up to you throughout their lives, whether they were students or are international designers now. We'll talk about people like me, who when they had their first budget to be able to, book a model from Bombay, you were the first choice. I think it was 1999. Yeah, when you had been flown down, and I was like, it has to be Nayanika. I don't care who the second person is, that sort of a thing. So it's such an honor and such a pleasure to have you today to talk about how the industry has evolved since you've been there almost since the inception, I think, of the industry as we know it today. So why don't we start with you telling us a little bit about how were the starting days, like, the initial 1988, 89, 90, how were they?
So basically, I never thought I'd become a model. And I was in St. Xavier's College studying there, and, Bombay's junior college. Yeah. 11, 12 was junior college. And then I got this choreographer's assistant. She was a big choreographer then, Ginny Nauroji. And her assistant had come to our college to scout. And they saw me, and then they contacted me and then gave me my first offer. And I was, of course, never thought I would be a model. So, I was very wary. And luckily, they were a known company. So my husband, who was then my boyfriend already, right, he was a model and he knew these people. So he was like, yeah, that's a bona fide company. They're nice people. You can do it with them. So that's how it started with them. And, it was professional, of course, the whole management and organization of the show. But the thing is that the industry wasn't a professional industry. Like people came to see shows more for entertainment rather than serious fashion. And the first show, we were doing the show for Oberoi's, a new Oberoi's had opened up that has now become Trident. And right, that time they had a shopping arcade. So we were promoting the brands that were showing in the shopping arcade. And so it would be silver jewelry from someone. Whose clothes? Your own. We used to do our own makeup, and except for the silver jewelry, which was for one shop. The other shop had only scarves. So we were wearing our own clothes. And a lot of shows would be like that. If it was sunglasses, then everything was ours. There was no design involved, no stylist involved. So that way, of course, it was very new, the industry. Yeah. And the name, the designer name that we say it's a designer, right, that was just coming into place. Because there were a few designers before. There was James, Abu Sandeep, all these people, Hemant Trivedi, they were already designing, but it was their batch, including the batch of Tarun and Rohit Khosla. Right. These guys all came back from abroad after studying, right? And that time there were no proper fashion institutes in India as well. Right. Right. So the thing is that they came with fresh ideas. They came with making fashion a serious name. Right. Before that, fashion was supposed to be only for the elite, and it was not considered anything beyond that. It was just for entertainment. So this evolution has happened since about 87, 88, 89, where this whole designer concept came into being. And of course, different inclusivity of different kinds of models came into being. That's why I got an opportunity. Otherwise, they were the fair, pretty, cute, sweet, that kind of thing.
Right.
So that way, the whole industry has changed. Today, it's a professional industry. There's a government recognition to a certain extent.
Right.
But the thing is, the industry is actually huge. We haven't managed to get the whole industry into one umbrella, as in there is folk fashion, okay? There is, the midway fashion, because everything, what rickshawala is wearing is fashion.
Right.
Okay. Now you might not call it couture, you might call it prep, but it's still fashion. And when he's buying that shirt, a rickshawala is also making that choice.
Right.
So the thing is that he's not wearing a flower printed shirt. He's going to buy a black or a blue or a gray or red, whatever. But he's thinking about it. So anything that involves what we have to is, I think, under the umbrella, which is coming closer and closer to that concept. Initially it was tamasha. We used to also dance in shows, okay? We used to do all these choreographed dances.
I've choreographed those ones in the early 2000s, where we used to have people dancing.
And I was so awkward, I can't tell you. I have 2 left feet. And luckily, I was the tallest. So they put me right at the end of the line, and I would be doing some kind of movement there.
So, it's amazing because Nayanika, talking about that time, and then I worked with you in 2019 after that shows didn't happen. Right. So, the last show I did in 2019, you were there. So you must be India's longest working supermodel. Yes or no? I mean, there are no two ways about it.
I would agree.
So why don't
in the world, because the thing is that why I'm saying it without any humbleness here, no humility, that even abroad, because nobody has continuously worked with mainstream modeling. Like you'll see a Naomi and a Cindy, but it'll be a one-off campaign where they've been brought out of their, things and stuff like that. And I have not moved. Like Naomi has tried her foray in films and everything.
Yes.
I have stuck to the modeling industry.
And you haven't taken a break. Like you have some of these models who are abroad and they take a break for 20 years and come back when they're in their 50s, you know what I mean? Or 60s, with the white hair and they're in the different, you're on. So it's amazing. It's great. And I think we can see the journey. I mean, we have a nice video, which was made by Kiara. So we have to thank her also in public. And could we see that video, please? I mean, let's see a video of you on the ramp walk. We couldn't get too many clips of you from a long time ago, but we do have it.
You got to let it go. You got to let it go. You got to let it go.
Fabulous, fabulous. So Nayanika, I heard that you really didn't want to do the movie, and Priyanka had to call you and tell you.
The thing is that I first of all I never wanted to do movies as an actor, so I didn't mind doing like cameos where I didn't have to speak.
Right.
I mean, no emote or anything of that sort, because I don't think I'm good at acting. Though I do a lot of it in real life. But, so the thing is that yes, I wasn't sure, and also the thing is that Madhur Bhandarkar has a reputation of making spicy movies.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of controversy regarding that and everything. And then Priyanka, because she was my student for Miss India at that point, and that Priyanka, Lara, Dia, our famous year of everyone winning. So she had, of course, been with under our training and everything. So she called me, she narrated the script to me, the whole thing. And also that time my daughter was really small. So I didn't want to do too much of a role because it meant leaving her in Delhi and going to Bombay to shoot. Then finally she said, okay, at least do a cameo or whatever. And that's how, it happened.
Yeah.
And I think it was a great experience though. I mean, I don't regret doing it at all.
I mean, I enjoyed the movie, but I did enjoy the backstage scenes because there was everybody we've worked with, people we know backstage, from Daman running around to you being there.
True. It was great fun. The experience was good, and I'm really glad I did it because it was also exploring a new medium for me.
Right.
I didn't know how films were made and how much it actually goes into it. And, I understood a lot of things like the mental space of actors, the insecurities that they go through.
Right.
There's a lot of hard work behind the scenes.
Yes.
There's a lot of waiting behind the scenes. So all that put together, I appreciated the other industry, which I never really I'd never understood before. So it not only gave it, and it was great fun because it was about fashion. So everyone was somehow, the other models I knew, and Priyanka I knew, and then, that kind of thing. And Madhur's set was great. He was also a relaxed, chilled out guy. So it was great working on it.
So, you have been a milestone. You've been in the industry. You've seen it change. And I remember that there was a time when, I mean, I understand the color issue. I understand the inclusivity. I understand the diversity. But I also have seen the time when every top model of India was dusky, from Sheetal, you, Netra, Vidisha. I mean, there were different tones of dusky, but everybody was dusky. You had maybe an Aditi here or there, or a Helen Brody here or there, but nobody really discussed it because these were the options you had. These were the people, and these were the people you had to book. There was personalities along with being models. It did change when we did start getting a lot of foreign models, and how the industry changed. But apart from color, do you think color is still something that people look at in terms of when it comes to modeling?
I would say modeling is again segregated into two parts. There's one which is press modeling, which is commercial modeling, and one which is ramp and designer modeling.
Right.
Okay, where you're doing working with designers on any level, most of the designers have accepted the color, and they don't think about it in terms of color.
Right.
They think about whether it suits the girl or not, and they're not thinking about. And in fact, they prefer the darker skins because they feel the lighting catches better.
I agree.
White, you pale out and fade out a lot, and stuff like that. And also, creating looks. A lot of fair people, it looks a lot more. I think it blends in more with our skin. So, that kind of thing. But in commercial modeling, there is still a bias. I mean, Sheetal might have done a few ads and someone else might have done a few ads here and there. But the point is that by and large, when you have a product like Fair and Lovely, which is existent in your country, that bias is not going to go. That means you understand the presence of these products means that there is an aspiration for fair skin among the people, the masses. So if there's a demand, then there'll be a supply.
Right.
And the thing is that here, we are not, nobody's taking the responsibility of educating the people to say that it's okay, I mean, there are people, but I'm saying in advertising. You normally try to feed the public like Hindi movies. The commercial cinema hasn't changed over the years. We're still doing the dancing, singing, and all that. Now the art films, so-called art films, are what's moving ahead. Okay, but commercial cinema is still the same, you know. So the thing is that, and when you ask them why, they said because the masses want it. But it's up to us also to educate the masses and say that, you know, it's okay to be what you are and shine in that.
Absolutely.
So that change will come a lot later. But if you see that this white dominance is there even in America, for example, they have Black Lives Matter and everything.
Yeah.
So it is a worldwide thing because of the supremacy of white men in terms of conquests and wars and this and that. And it will take some generations to clear. You need more Barack Obamas and Oprah Winfrey's to kind of break the norm there. And some of us who have pioneered, actually, all these girls you mentioned, the dark girls, are all junior to me.
I know.
I started, there was
I couldn't remember the names of the ones before.
No, the ones who were dark in my time and before me was only Vanessa Vaz and Mari Lou. Okay? We were the three, and then of course with me came Svetlana and everyone. But I also have to tell you that I think we got accepted more because Naomi was making it famous in Paris at the same time. She's, I think, about the same age as me, or maybe 1 year younger. And she was hitting it big time in Paris.
Oh, yeah, it was huge. She was huge in the 90s.
And whatever the West does, we must follow. So there, I got lucky. I got purely lucky.
Absolutely agree with you because, I mean, you're talking about yourself, but I'm talking about maybe a model like Garima Parnami, who was dark, who was given no work initially, but when Marie Claire photographers from abroad came in and they put her on the cover, on one cover, second cover, then everybody wanted to work with her.
You know, the thing is that I did my first show because these guys booked me. My second show was with Tarun and Rohit Khosla. It was a shop show, in-house show, okay? In their first designer label that they had, all designer labels called Ensemble, right? Yeah. And within 2 months of that, Pierre Cardin came into India. Okay. Yep. And he liked me and he came, and my parents came for the show, and he came up to them and he told them that I want to take your daughter to Paris. Now, some journalist overheard that. It came out in the India Today. That was when people said, oh, Pierre Cardin wants her to go to Paris. That means there's something in her. So all these things kind of work.
But you know, that happens not only with, I think, with models and with the dancing, that even happens with designers. If a designer is not recognized here and gets a certain recognition, we do look at West a lot when it comes to fashion. I think that happens, but it is changing with education. It is changing with curriculum changing. It is changing with us getting our own people to look up to. Like whether it is B.B. Russell or whether it is Ritu Kumar or whoever, Anju Modi, you know, we look up to them and then we say, oh, you know, this is what we can do. However, you do, I think it was 2 years ago when FDCI did the whole inclusive and diversive fashion week, where they had a rainbow finale. Now, my question here, you know, Nayanika, to you is that, I mean, we had transgenders, we had gay men on the ramp, we had effeminate, you know, we had the lot of people there. But I don't see anything happening beyond that one season of everybody doing a campaign with those models. So I was shooting with one of the transgender models last week. So I said, what happened post that? Because you were in every designer show. So she says, I think I was just the mascot for that season. So what do you say about that? I mean, it's not a change. It's just a trend. What do you think?
No, but I think it's a great start. And I think it's a worldwide start. It's not just in India. You see that model who works in New York who's got vitiligo. Okay.
Yeah.
And she's huge right now, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So the thing is that I think it's a slow change. It's come a little late, but it's better late than never. And I feel that it's also up to the industry and us to keep it going.
Right.
Okay? Because we tend to forget with trends. Fashion trends change and we tend to forget. Right. But the thing is that there are some like transgender models who are fabulous, like Anjali Lama, okay, in Bombay. There's another girl in Delhi, I think Rosie or someone. there are two, in fact, in Delhi who are really good. And the thing is that they, I think, are pretty much here to stay as models.
Tia and Kenny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So
Fabulous.
they are pretty much here to stay, I feel, as models because they're damn good at their job.
Yes.
One. Two, they look the part.
Right.
They look good and they look glamorous and they carry clothes well. So I think these three can actually change it, because if they go into mainstream once,
right,
and they are used regularly, which Anjali, I know in Bombay is being used regularly,
right,
then it will start, more people will get the chance to, or the idea to come in and try also.
Right. I also feel that the younger generation of designers, the students of today, or the students who have passed out in the past 2-3 years, because they've already seen the world on their phone, they know that these are the different 14 different types of skin tones, these are the this, and I see them, there is so much more about body positivity in the youth today. Rather than trying to look like each other, they're proud of who they are, they know how to dress themselves up. So coming to larger size models, now again, most of the clientele of the couturiers or designers are women who are not model sizes. They are not 17-year-olds or 19-year-olds. They are women above 35. They can afford it. So don't you think that they should at least start featuring that part in a campaign more regularly, or in the lookbooks and stuff like that when it comes to body positivity?
See, the thing is that I feel body positivity is it's a very sensitive topic. The thing is that if you have a problem, okay, and you are the way you are, or your structure is big, then it's okay. Yeah, and we shouldn't shame them.
Absolutely.
Okay. But the thing is that if you're not going to try and let yourself just go and be like that, then it's not called body positivity.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Like, I'm just going to sit at home, I'm going to be lazy, and I'm not going to work out, and then I'm going to say that don't shame me. That is because that's shameful. Because it's not only about being thin, it's about being healthy.
Healthy.
And leading a good, healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
So the thing is that body positivity, I don't know how much that will get inclusive. I think that's more of a trend. Because the thing is that you have to see that I'm not talking about absolutely rake thin girls, but thinner girls, they do carry off the clothes well. You can put it, okay? It's very difficult for a designer when you're doing a showing to make one for this size, one for this size. If you have a standard size, it's easier for them when they're putting an event together of that mammoth scale.
Right.
So I think, like, I've always been a little bit of a heavier model. I was never that rake thin. Okay. So for me, I feel that they could have been more positive about my body. I did get a lot of flack for it. But I'm not saying that become obese because of bad habits and that should be considered body positivity.
Right. But genetics do play a role.
That's what I'm saying.
Bone structure does play a role.
If you have a problem and you cannot lose the weight no matter how much you're trying, then I think it's okay. Okay, look, you've tried and tested, and then it's not happening. But a lot of people are not taking advantage of this, is what I'm saying.
Right. I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
So I'm saying if you're bigger framed, if you have a problem of your thyroid, if you have, or you just, can't lose the weight because your metabolism is low.
Yeah.
And you try. But I'm saying don't give up trying, thinking that, okay. And I'm saying be proud of what you have. What you can. See, for me, when people change their faces, that's way more, that gets me really angry, because I feel that that's what it is. Now you're doing something completely, but if I have to work out and become thin, I don't think that's a bad thing, because it's good for my body as well.
Right.
Okay.
But not to the extent of anorexia and bulimia and.
Yeah, that is completely a no-no. And that pressure is really too much.
Right, I understand. So if you've
seen, I would try my best, but I could never be that thin.
You're quite thin even now, so I don't know what you're complaining about.
No, I'm saying what they wanted, I had a voluptuous body and I was okay.
See, I think the problem was again that there were a lot of designers who wanted models. See, now if you look at foreign models, they're very thin, but they're broad. Like, you know what I mean? We should understand our cultural body type also.
Yes.
You know, and not say that is the body that we want, then hire that body. You know
That's
what I mean?
absolutely not. And also, I couldn't understand, like, a lot of women, I think, when we used to do shows, you got to know a lot of the audience and, so-called people who came for shows to buy clothes seriously.
Yeah.
And when they met me after a show, they would say, yeah, I think I can wear what you are wearing, because they could identify with my body type, which was slightly more voluptuous than the rest.
Right.
Like, they would look at the other girls and say, oh my God, what she was wearing, it'll only look good on a thin model. But, I was more identifiable for a client.
Right.
So I think that kind of thing should move.
Yeah, and I also think that the way that our garments are in India, whether it's a lehenga or a sari, they look better on a little fuller body rather than a...
Yes.
The sari drapes much better on curves.
Lehengas need that little bit of curves and everything. It looks nice. A flat body
does not
look nice,
Yeah, and that is why even the way we do shows is so amazing. I mean, when you have a lehenga and you have to turn in it, that's to show the garment,
Yeah. True.
So, I mean, India should get its own flavor and taste. But do you think as in India, as the Indian fashion industry developed its own taste and character, or are we still taking a lot from the West?
No. I think we've evolved a lot. Also, I think we've come to realize that the biggest market in India is the wedding market.
Oh, yes.
Okay. And I mean, we have such amazing fabrics, such amazing workmanship, karigari, that's what we call it. Okay, we have so many types of things culturally that we don't really need to go anywhere else for and the thing is that there are enough designers doing modern takes of our traditional stuff also.
Yes.
Like, for example, there's so many designers who are actually making clothes with maybe even a malmal. Opulent clothes.
Right.
So I'm saying that so it looks a little bit more modern, maybe.
Yeah.
Their treatment of the embroidery is very modern.
Absolutely.
They might use that same style, but their treatment is more modern.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The silhouettes have gone more modern. Right?
Yeah.
The sari has become like pre-stitched. Okay,
right.
It's become drape saris. It's it can almost look like a gown sometimes and a sari sometimes.
John Galliano did that, I think, about 5 years ago. John Galliano's India collection. Yeah, that was like that.
Right. So they're copying us now. Kurtas are becoming in fashion abroad and things like that. But the thing is that so we have kind of created a niche for ourselves. We can explore more because our country is endless in its rich culture.
Yeah. So do you think as a design, I mean, you're from NID and NID is NID, in terms of one of the oldest institutes of design. So how was your experience as a student and so I'm just going to put one or two questions in one go. How was your experience as a student of design? Who were the student designers you met who have made it big now? And did you recognize that they would at that time? And what advice would you give to design students if you had to give any? So I mean, you can take it as you go.
Okay. So 1989 was the first NIF show, I think.
Around that time.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm talking so much that I'm getting a dry throat. The thing is that 1989 was that first NIF graduation show. There were people like, I think Mohan, Sunita Shankar, Mohan Neelkantan, Sunita Shankar. I've seen the batches of JJ Valaya, Ritu Berry, Manish Arora, Rajesh Pratap, Payal Pratap. Okay. So there's a whole lot of Ashish Soni. I mean, I keep getting the name Sonam. It's endless, the list. And it was crazy because, the first time in India, they were allowed to do whatever they wanted creatively in a show.
Yes.
So they had this wearable and couture garments as well.
Yes.
Okay, so they kind of explored and it was just like a rush of different things and new silhouettes and strange silhouettes and everyone was trying things, even if it was show value.
Yeah.
But it was, a lot of experimentation.
Right.
And yet a lot of variability also.
Right.
Because as a design student, you need to also create a function. Otherwise, you become an artist.
Right.
If everything becomes an installation, then you become an artist, not a designer.
Right.
So it has to be something that is amazing, can be a showstopper kind of situation, but the rest of the collection has to be something which is identifiable and wearable as well as your quirkiness or your color good, whatever, whatever your strong points may be.
Right.
And, it's great that so many of them have become really well-known designers today. And I honestly didn't know which one would, of course, sometimes you would like a collection and you say, yeah, this designer has a potential, or, that one. But I mean, by and large, a lot of those first few batches have really made it big.
Yes.
Because I think also there was a lot of freedom of thought.
Yes. With
functionality.
Yes.
So they kind of learned both. So what I think for students to remember for today is that, like, I have done a lot of student shows from all over the country, okay? Then, so, you kind of see really strange garments, which I feel are made sometimes for just the sake of making a garment look different. It's not really inspired.
Right.
So I feel that that's when you should put a stop to it for students. You should do something that you're really inspired and make that one outfit maybe completely unwearable, but through your inspiration. But your rest of your collection has to be relatable to some target audience or the other, whoever it might be, whether it's a Gen X or it's the aunties or it's, I'm the auntie, sorry. But, whoever the target audience that you have, that audience, you have to cater to that as well. Right. You can't make something just, extraordinary to look at and then nothing can be sold. Right. So you have to think that you have to survive also. Right. So with your creativity, keep that functionality, and things like construction. If you look at the difference between few of the top designers in India or abroad and a tailor, is the inside of the garment looks as beautiful as the outside.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. That is very important, that you finish it. And that shows the mark of a better designer also.
Yes.
That you're not just looking at surface change, but the outfit feels good. Yes. There are no zips poking and hooks coming off and, things like that. Yep. So these are the things that the student must keep in mind. And of course, today's big thing is marketing. Huge. I mean, if you can market, I think you can sell crochet.
So it's about building a brand. It's building about building a brand image as much as about being creative and doing something new. And yeah. So
for example, I feel like, for example, me, I'm more creative a person. I'm less managerial.
Right.
Okay? So then the thing is that then you tie up with someone who can handle that for you.
Right.
Because don't think that your creativity in today's world is going to get you very far if you can't market it well.
I agree with you.
So today's world has changed. It's become digital. It's out there. It's in your face. So you have to, if you're not capable of doing it yourself, then tie up with someone who can.
So it's like, it's like a rose with thorns. So like, while social media has given everyone a platform, it's also given everyone a platform. So how are you going to be different? So
now everyone's become a celebrity also.
Everybody is, it seems, these days. So why don't we give the audience a little bit more of something nice? I mean, you are nice to look at, you're great, you're gorgeous, but let's see some stills of yours through the ages. I don't know whether they can pause at the first one. I wanted to show the society cover where you have Arjun Rampal behind you. So, could we have this the second video, please? And if you could stop at the first, for a bit. That's Arjun Rampal, no, on your left.
Yes,
and Mark Robinson.
Arjun, Mark, there was Faisal and Milind.
That's Milind, right? I was thinking that doesn't look like Milind, but that is Milind, right?
Yeah, that's Milind.
Okay, thank you. We can play the film now. Thank you so much. I remember seeing this cover,
taking me higher. Oh, you know you're making me sweat. Don't you know you're taking me further, to places I ain't ever been. Don't you know I'm nothing without you? Oh, you know I can't survive. Oh, you're showing me an adventure. Oh, you make me feel alive.
So, talking about your grooming and pageant consultancy, how important? I mean, one is grooming, where you do grooming for models and you do grooming for pageant contestants. But I think in today's world, presentation and grooming has become sacrosanct to almost everyone who's in our field or any other field also. So, how do
I
you?
agree with that totally, because actually I don't only do these two trainings. I also do grooming for anyone who wants to groom themselves.
Right.
That's also, I have had old ladies also, 65-year-old ladies who wanting to come and learn makeup, and they want to learn table settings. I feel, whether it's not about today, I've always felt this, that ever since I became a model and everything, I became aware that it's very important to show the best side of yourself. Why should you not? Is my point. Okay.
Right.
Why should only a model be groomed?
Right.
Why does a normal person, I mean, a non-model, I won't say normal, I'll say non-model, not be groomed? Okay. The thing is that when you're walking in a mall, I see such lovely looking girls, but their body language is so bad.
Right.
Okay, they might not be tall, but it doesn't mean that if you're not tall, you're going to hunch
Right.
or walk sloppily, okay, or not dress properly. Or if you're putting makeup, then you should know how little and how much can just, like, for example, if you have big eyes, you put a little bit more eye makeup to make your eyes, accentuate your eyes. If you have nicer mouth, you would put a nicer lipstick. So you would, the same way your personality also, everything makes your personality. So
Right.
if you're going, like for you, for example, just because you're not walking on the ramp, it's not that you're going to slouch and walk into your classroom
Right.
when you're teaching, okay? Or when you're doing your choreography, you command that respect, you stand straight and you say, yes, this is what I want to do. Okay, there's also a certain way to communicate. I think a lot of people don't know how to communicate. What are the do's and don'ts? Like, I found one judge for Miss India sitting on the judge's table and chewing gum. Okay, and one Filmfare Award, one actress came chewing gum on stage. I think these are things that people must realize, that these are, it is just disrespecting the space.
Right.
So how when you do up your house, no matter how much money or no money that you spend, you want to do it in a certain way.
Right.
Why? Because you want to make the space around you nice and livable.
Right.
Doesn't have to be expensive or anything. I'm not talking about the money factor.
Right.
I'm talking about a pleasant living space.
Right.
Right? With the colors you want. The same way, I think you should treat your body like that temple or that house. Okay? That it is something that you look after. It is something that where you put your best foot forward. When we don't wash our dirty linen in public,
Right.
there's a reason, right?
Right.
So the thing is that you have to be the best version of yourself, is
Right.
what I honestly believe in.
Right.
Okay. And I think that's for everyone. Even if I have a dog, I'm going to give that dog a bath every fortnight to make sure that her coat is shining, not because of what the world thinks, but that's because that's the best version that she can be. She should be fresh, she should be clean. I'm just giving a very, basic example.
Right.
So the thing is that you go, and today, since the media has all become digital, you're out there. Like first is to make a phone call, say, nahi aa sakti meeting, phone pe baat kar le. Abhi bolenge video call pe baat kar le. Then you must be the best version.
Right.
And you
Right.
also, what I feel that my training does is that I'm very interested in people. I'm interested in personalities. I believe that every human being has something nice about them.
Right.
whether it's their features or their personality, and that needs to be honed, and that needs to reflect from them. So you have to take that confidence, and I think knowing a very basic thing, when you go outside to eat in public, okay, now a lot of the lower class, income groups have risen a little bit. They can go to malls, they can afford food. But I've seen them feeling awkward if they're sitting next to us and we're using the fork and knife properly and just cop, or sometimes they're eating with chopstick and I'll see someone staring at me because they're holding the spoon in the wrong hand and somehow putting it into their mouth. And they are feeling less confident about themselves. It doesn't matter to me. Okay.
Right.
But the thing is that they are not feeling good about themselves and they're not feeling good about, that thing.
Being there, yeah.
Then why not learn? Why not learn what is the right way? Why not learn how to do the right makeup or the right clothes, or how to speak, or when to say thank you, excuse me, please, when you should reply to messages, be on time. These are the things that, grooming includes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's just polishing yourself to be the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
And I think why not?
One thing I've seen is that people who really want to do manage. And with today, information being at your fingertips, whether it's design, whether it's grooming, whether it's this, it's nice to have experts tell you. It's nice to at least start learning yourself also. So now we have students who are going to be spending the next 4 years learning design. You have a young daughter, yeah, who has finished her schooling now, I guess.
Yes, it's just finished class 12 now.
Yeah, so she'll also be going into a professional college or doing something. So what would your advice be to design students who are going to be spending 4 years now learning design, education to get into the industry? So what are the things that they should keep in mind when they're studying design, and especially fashion is what I would like.
First of all, I feel that they should be really aware of the surroundings and space. Like, for example, we've gone through a pandemic. Okay. The whole world has gone through the pandemic. So everyone's buying power or economy has gone down. So now when you're designing for the next 1 or 2 years at least, you should keep sustainability in mind. You should keep cost efficiency in mind, because no one really has the money, yet we would still aspire to want to, buy some nice things and all that.
Right.
So when you are making clothes, make it in a way that you can reach out to the people and help them work on their aesthetics. Like, I love clothes, but I can't necessarily, just because I'm in a model, I can't make my own clothes, right?
Right.
I'm not a designer. I'm a model. Yes, I can tell you what I like and what I know, but I can't say tomorrow I'm going to start designing. Okay, so you are catering, but look at the needs. So awareness of your surroundings is very important.
Right.
Okay. Also, I'm saying go true to your form. Okay, like I go sometimes and students make things like made out of blades and call them, reusable and this and that. That is not really, for me, reusable and sustainable and all that. Okay, you're making outfits out of tires and all that. But okay, it's a great showpiece again, but are you going to be able to? So there is a lot of reusability, but think, okay, you have to be aware of what is happening also in the world.
Right.
Like how things are progressing, what is working, what is not working, colors, climate. There's lots to think about.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So, and the thing is that don't stop educating yourself, is what I feel. You can make mistakes. There's no harm in making mistakes, but learn from them. Okay. So the thing is that when you're going out there in the world, if you feel that this hasn't worked for you, I used to be very scared of failure. I'll tell you, because initially in the modeling career, I kind of hit it big time because of Pierre Cardin, Naomi, and whatever. So the thing is that after that, anything, I would get scared. Oh, what if I fail? What if I fail? Then my mother told me that what is the worst thing that can happen?
Right.
That you failed. But it won't change your life that much, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, you then do something else, reinvent yourself and do something where you might fail again also.
Right.
So you remember that one thing, that you can change your world.
Right, right.
And that is the most important thing that you keep in mind.
You know, Nayanika, you and I can go on forever, as we've seen backstage in fashion shows. And I think it's almost time. But I quickly just want to share the screen and show your new venture, which is India by Nayanika, which you have done with Bibi Rathal, who herself is a national treasure of Bangladesh. So could you just tell us quickly in a line or two what this is about, and then,
Actually, it wasn't started by her, but she inspires me a lot.
Yeah.
It was started during the pandemic when, a lot of people, artisans I've met over the years, and I talk to everybody, okay? I'm a big talker, as you can make out. So I would talk, and then, I would become friendly with them. So there was someone I would buy linen from, someone I would buy, like I've bought the gold, the ring that you're showing right now, the wooden ring, I have that also myself.
Right.
From some 5 years back. The saris I have myself. So the thing is that the coasters I have. So these were the people who didn't have work during the pandemic and couldn't sell a lot of their stuff. So they would say, Didi, koi hai, aapke friends koi hai, to start it, to buy it. And that's when I said that these guys don't know how to use social media. Not that I'm very much better, but I'm better than them. So I said that let me get their products, and whatever pictures they have or whatever I can shoot, I'm going to put it out there and help them sell.
Right.
Okay. And then about 4-5 months into going into this, Bibi Russell, I met her, and she really helped me because she does so much of sustainable fashion that it really inspired me more and more. And now I'm fully into this.
That's wonderful. I think, Nayanika, from supermodel to your share of television to foray into music, into what do you call it, films a little bit, your personal groomings, your pageant grooming, and now being an entrepreneur, and also inspiring generations and generations of different types of professionals from the industry. I thank you so much for being a part of our function today. Anaita, over to you. Thank you, Nayanika.
Hi, Nayanika. It's been so lovely to hear you talk about your journey. And thank you so much for busting the myth of fashion modeling being a glamorous profession and telling our young students, how fashion models can also create an impact for social change. I think that's very important learning for them to have at this stage. Your humility and your happy persona is so refreshing, and it's been an absolute delight to have you with us today. And thank you so much, Ajay, for asking all the right questions that could help us get to know Nayanika and the modeling career a little bit more. And thank you, both of you, for making the time for us and our students at UID today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you, Nayanika. Thank you, Anaita.
Thank you so much, Ajay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.